Hi, I'm Thomas Noel. 20 years back, I got married to someone, but it totally crashed and burned to crumbs a few years after my son was born. That period was brutal, like the toughest I have ever faced, and let me tell ya, I learned some hard lessons that are stuck with me for life. Just to give you all some background, I'm 48 now, born and raised in Houston, Texas. I did all my schooling and college right here and got my degree in computer science from Baylor University. I had always been super into techie stuff, so there was no surprise that I went into that field. And I also met my future wife, Vanessa, there. It was during my last year of college when I just randomly decided to check out this guest lecture in the humanities department. Little did I know that this simple decision was about to flip my world upside down. I strolled into the lecture hall and plopped down in a seat, and there she was. Vanessa was standing up front and was chatting about some historical era thing with this crazy passion. Now, history was not exactly my thing, but I couldn't take my eyes off her. After the lecture, I mustered up some courage and went to talk to her. Turns out she was not just smart, but super charismatic too, and we hit it off right away. We chatted effortlessly despite coming from totally different academic backgrounds, and her love for history lit this fire in me and sparked a curiosity I never knew I had. Hi, I just had to come over and tell you how much I enjoyed your speech at the seminar. You totally nailed it. Ada Banks, I actually got quite nervous during the last bit, but I would really like to know what you thought was so great about it. Well, for starters, your passion for history is contagious. I'm Thomas, by the way, and I'm a full-blown tech guy, but your talk really got me thinking. Well, that is awesome, Thomas. I'm Vanessa. It's cool to meet someone from a totally different field who is into what I'm passionate about. Definitely. I mean, who knew history and computer science could have so much in common, right? Exactly. Hey, how about we grab some coffee and chat more about this? Sounds like a plan. I'm all in for some enlightening conversation over coffee. We then started hanging out a lot and used to grab coffee and hit the books together frequently. Our talks went all over the place, from deep dives into the philosophical side of tech to unpacking cultural biases over the ages, and every chat made our bond stronger. Even when graduation was looming over us and our career paths were taking different turns, Vanessa and I found comfort in each other's presence, and by the time graduation rolled around, I knew Vanessa was something special. So, after graduation, things got really tough. I was hustling hard and searching for the perfect job while juggling side gigs. Vanessa was doing her own thing too, so our friendship kind of chilled out for a bit. But then, out of the blue, we started messaging one night and decided to catch up. Sparks literally flew when we met up. By then, I had landed a job as a cybersecurity analyst at this fancy firm and was pulling in a decent paycheck. Vanessa was hustling too and was bouncing around different jobs, but nothing was set in stone yet. As time went on, we got super close and ended up dating for almost 2 years before deciding to tie the knot. Our wedding was not some big flashy thing though. It was just a small gathering with close friends and family because money was tight back then. But we figured it was about time to make it official, so we went for it. Vanessa was sweet and easy on the eyes, but let's just say, patience was not her strongest suit. She would get ticked off pretty quickly. That was just her vibe. Plus, she had this bossy streak and a bit of a selfish side. She liked to think she ran the show at home, and everyone else had to toe the line. But I didn't really mind. As long as we loved each other and things were going smoothly, I was cool with it. So, we would always talk about having kids, but let me tell you, the road to parenthood was anything but smooth. We tried for years to conceive with no luck. Cue the endless doctor visits, fertility treatments, and roller coaster emotions. Each step tested us big time. But all that hard work finally paid off when Emily got pregnant. Man, we were over the moon with excitement and counted down the days till our little bundle arrived. But our happiness was short-lived. As Tyler went from being a tiny baby to a toddler, we started noticing some differences in how he was developing compared to the other kids his age. At first, we thought it was just him taking his sweet little time hitting those milestones. But as time went on, we got more and more worried. Little things started adding up, like him being slow to crawl and struggling to sit up without help. Even when it was time for him to start walking, he had a tough time standing on his own and was always leaning on stuff for support. We were freaking out, and so we talked to our pediatrician. He tried to calm us down by saying that every kid goes at their own pace, but as time passed and Tyler's progress stayed sluggish, our anxiety went up a notch. We went full-on detective mode after that and researched everything about kids' development and possible conditions. We even got second opinions from some specialists and did a bunch of tests, hoping for some clarity. But man, it was a slow and frustrating process. Each doctor had a different take, and none of the results gave us a clear answer, and we felt totally lost and helpless. It was not until Tyler hit 3 years old that things started to click. His delays were getting more obvious, and he started having muscle stiffness and these weird involuntary movements. Finally, after months of uncertainty, we got the news Tyler had cerebral palsy. It hit us like a ton of bricks, and I started realizing the challenges he would face and the road ahead for us as a family. Cerebral palsy is basically a bunch of disorders that mess with a person's ability to move and keep their balance and posture in check. It happens when the brain does not develop right or gets damaged during development, messing with how muscles are controlled. The symptoms can be all over the map. Someone with severe CP might need gear to help them walk or might not be able to walk at all, needing care for life. But if it's milder, they might walk a bit funny, but not need any extra help. Tyler was dealing with spastic diplegia bilateral cerebral palsy (SDCP). It is a type of cerebral palsy that messes with the muscles and causes stiffness and spasms, mostly in the legs but sometimes in the arms too. This is all thanks to some damage in the brain's motor cortex. People with SDCP usually have super tight muscles in their legs, which makes them stiff and causes all sorts of reflexes and spasms. It tends to affect both legs equally, but some might feel it in their arms too. As Tyler got older, he relied on stuff to help him get around, because he was not able to do it on his own. His speech was also kind of slurred, and talking was a real challenge for him. Plus, he would sometimes have seizures thrown into the mix as well. So when we found out Tyler had SDCP, it hit us like a ton of bricks. We were so shocked and could not even believe it. The idea of him facing all these challenges was tough to swallow. We used to get all teary whenever we tried to wrap our heads around the diagnosis and mourned the fact that his childhood would not be like we had imagined. We went through all sorts of feelings. The phase of our life was filled with sadness, anger, and fear, and the future felt super uncertain. But in times of all that chaos, we leaned on each other for strength and dove headfirst into researching treatments, therapies, and support groups for kids with cerebral palsy. We had heard good things about Texas Children's Hospital, and so that is exactly where we headed. We sat through endless appointments, therapy sessions, and support group meetups, and were dead set on giving Tyler everything he needed to kick butt, despite the odds. And let me tell you that our journey was nothing less than a roller coaster ride, that is for sure. Dealing with all the medical bills put a serious strain on both of us financially. Both Vanessa and I were bringing in decent, but not exactly high-flying salaries. We were just getting by. But this condition of Tyler's wiped out all our savings in no time, and suddenly, we were living from paycheck to paycheck and were barely making ends meet. And don't even get me started on how confusing and frustrating it was trying to navigate through the healthcare maze and deal with all the weird looks and misconceptions people had about disabilities. But through all that mess, we stayed rock solid in our commitment to Tyler's well-being. All that stress and pressure was also taking its toll on both of us. Tensions had been bubbling under the surface for a while, and then one evening, it all boiled over. After a day packed with endless doctor visits, therapy sessions, and just trying to get through the daily grind with Tyler's condition weighing on us, it all led to Vanessa hitting her breaking point. She was beyond exhausted, emotionally drained, and just fed up with everything. But so was I. Anyways, in a moment of pure frustration and desperation, she let it all out and said that she could not handle it anymore and needed to find some peace. And in that stage, she made the snap decision to leave and walked out on me and Tyler. "Vanessa, please, we need to talk about this. You can't just leave us like this." "Thomas, I have made up my mind. I can't do this anymore." "But Tyler needs you. He needs both of us. I understand that, but I need to prioritize my own well-being for once. I can't keep sacrificing my happiness for the sake of his illness." "How can you say that? He is our child, Vanessa. We made a commitment to each other and to him." "I did not sign up for this, Thomas. I never expected our lives to be consumed by his illness. None of us did, but that does not mean we can just abandon him. I'm not abandoning him. I'm choosing to prioritize myself for once. I deserve to live my own life, without constantly being weighed down by his condition. This is not just about you, Vanessa. It's about our family. What is wrong with you?" "I understand that, but I can't keep pretending like everything is okay when it's not. I need to do what is best for me, even if that means leaving. I can't believe you are willing to walk away from us like this." "I'm sorry, Thomas, but I need to do what is right for me. It's my life, and I deserve to be happy." "And what about Tyler? What about his happiness? He is just 8 Ven. He's gonna need you around." "He will be fine, Thomas. He is strong, just like you. He'll understand someday." "No, he needs you, Vanessa." "Why do you think I should stay, Thomas? There's no money, no personal life, loads of hurdles and pain, and I'm not gaining anything from it." Every single word of her put me in shock, and so I decided to let her go. "Seriously, Vanessa? You're gonna think about yourself at a time like this instead of your own son? Sorry, but I'm not gonna beg you to stick around anymore. You have just proven every bad thing people said about you, right? Don't do this to me, Thomas." It was like a punch in the gut when Vanessa walked out. Suddenly, I was left to deal with Tyler's condition all on my own. Talk about a heavy load to carry. I was a mess of emotions, mad, sad, just plain devastated, and I was trying to wrap my head around what had just happened. In the days that followed, it was like I was swimming in a sea of loneliness and responsibility. Taking care of Tyler alone was no joke. I was constantly second-guessing myself and wondered if I had failed somehow as a husband and dad. I will not lie. There was some part of me that hoped Vanessa would come to her senses and come back, but that never happened. But even through all the hurt and heartbreak, one thing was crystal clear: Tyler needed me. So I dug deep and poured everything I had into giving him the love and support he needed. I was determined to step up and be both mom and dad, even with Vanessa gone. As days went by, I started accepting the truth of what had gone down. Vanessa's departure left scars that would never fully fade, but having Tyler by my side gave me some comfort. As for Tyler, he was still a little kid and was too young to really get what was going on. But even though he could not fully grasp it, he definitely felt Vanessa's absence. At first, he was all kinds of confused and wondered where she went and asked about her non-stop. He would look around for her and call out her name and hope she would just pop back into our lives. But as time went on, that confusion turned into sadness. I could see that he missed having his mom around, be it her hugs, her voice, her laugh, all of it. One could easily tell that he was struggling and was acting out more and withdrawing a bit as he tried to wrap his head around why she left. But eventually, as the days turned into weeks, he started getting used to this new normal. In the years that followed, I hit some serious financial bumps while raising Tyler solo. And let me tell you, being a single dad and handling all the costs of caring for a kid with special needs was no joke. I had to pinch every penny to cover medical bills, therapy sessions, and all sorts of special gear he needed. But even with cash being tight, I was dead set on giving Tyler the best shot at life. I switched jobs along the way and even tried my darndest to climb the corporate ladder at work, but juggling work and taking care of Tyler was a whole other level of tough. My paycheck just was not cutting it, so I hustled like crazy and used to pick up extra shifts at work and do odd jobs left and right just to keep the lights on. Forget about treating myself. Every cent I made went straight to Tyler's care. I was pretty much a full-time advocate and was fighting tooth and nail to make sure Tyler got everything he needed, be it treatments, therapies, etc. I scoured every corner for community resources and leaned on friends and family to help cover the costs. And when it came to schooling, I did not mess around. I pinched every penny to make sure Tyler had what he needed for high school uniforms, supplies, the work. He struggled a bit at first and relied on a mobility aid, but thanks to all those meds and therapy sessions, he hardly needs it anymore. It was not easy, but I was determined to set Tyler up for success, no matter what. And you know what? It all paid off when Tyler graduated high school with flying colors. It had been ages since we had felt any real joy. We never really celebrated any milestones because money was always tight and we just could not swing it. But when Tyler's graduation rolled around, I figured I could loosen the purse strings a bit and throw together a little party for him with just our nearest and dearest. As the big day approached, the excitement was over the top, as I rarely held such parties. All our people started gathering and were ready to cheer Tyler on. I had been planning this thing for weeks and wanted to make sure he knew how loved and supported he was. Finally, the day arrived and Tyler was beaming with happiness, seeing everything and everyone. And seeing him so pumped up made my heart swell with pride. We held the party at a buddy's place because our place was too cramped to fit everyone. Amidst all the laughter and chatter, though, someone caught my eye. I had never seen that guy before, and he seemed kinda out of place. When I tried to make eye contact, he quickly looked away, which struck me as odd. I could not shake the feeling, so I decided to go say hi. The guy seemed a bit awkward, but he exchanged pleasantries and made some excuse to jet off. It was very weird, but I brushed it off, thinking maybe he was just a friend of a friend I hadn't met yet. But as the night wore on, he approached me again, and what he had to say turned everything upside down. "Hey Thomas, can we talk for a moment? I'm Morgan, by the way." I had no idea how he knew my name, because earlier he had run away before I could even tell him my name. "Hi Morgan. I'm sorry I can't remember, but do I know you?" "No, you probably have no idea. I know what I am about to say would come out as a complete shock to you, but please listen to me first, okay?" Okay, what's on your mind? I don't really know how to say this. I should have told you sooner, but I just could not muster up the courage. I'm Tyler's biological father." I wasn't able to speak for a moment. I thought he was joking at first, but his face suggested the complete opposite. Then the horror struck me and I was utterly flabbergasted. "Wait? What? What are you talking about?" "Thomas, I gotta come clean about something, and I know it is probably gonna come out as a shocker to you. But hear me out, all right? Years ago, I had an affair with Vanessa. We met at a club where she was out with her friends, and we hit it off. The thing is that I had no clue she was married. We went on a bunch of dates, and I was totally clueless about her whole situation. Then one day, she called me up, freaking out, and said that she was pregnant. I was trying to calm her down, but she was all about breaking things off and never talking again, and I was sitting there like, what the heck, because I did have feelings for her and was ready to face whatever came our way. But she cut me off completely and left me feeling totally confused. So being the curious guy I am, I started digging into her background and found out that she was married to you. I was so shocked at this brand new piece of information and decided to just move on with my life now. Then I got married and had kids of my own, but I just couldn't shake this feeling about the baby. I kept digging, and that was when I found out about what Vanessa did to you and Tyler. And let me tell you, I wanted to spill the beans about him being my son, but I just couldn't find the guts to do it. I never meant for things to get this messed up, man. But I just couldn't bring myself to tell you the truth until now, Thomas. I don't know what to say. How could she keep something like this from me? I'm sorry, Alex. I never wanted to cause you any pain. I was scared of the consequences of losing my family, so I stayed silent all these years. But I thought it was time when Tyler deserves to know the truth, and you deserve to know too. I don't even know how to process this. How could she do this to us? I wish I had all the answers, but I don't. All I know is that Ben is a part of both of us, and he deserves to know his true heritage. I will understand if you need time to process everything. Thank you for telling me. I need some time to think about all of this. I was hit with a whirlwind of feelings which ranged from anger and betrayal to pure heartache, and was trying to wrap my head around everything I had just been told. And being deceived for so long felt like my whole world was crashing down. I couldn't shake this boiling rage towards Vanessa, and hearing all this just made me see red. I wish she had never stepped foot into my life, because she tore it apart, piece by piece, and bounced when things got rough. But even with all that turmoil churning inside me, I made damn sure Tyler's big day was not going to be overshadowed by her mess. He meant everything to me, and I was not about to let anything ruin that. Still, deep down, I knew once Tyler found out the truth, everything would change, and that thought kept eating at me. Like, what if he wanted to bail and go live with his real dad once he knew? What then? Morgan tried to comfort me, saying we should stay in touch. Take all the time you need, Thomas. Just know that I'm here for you and for Tyler whenever you're ready. I will not pester you more today, but I would really like to be in contact with you. I noticed Morgan checking out something behind me, so I turned around and saw that Tyler was standing there. He came over and sounded shaky as heck, and with this mix of fear and uncertainty in his voice, he straight up asked if everything he had heard was true, his eyes practically begging us for confirmation. Morgan and I shared this look before nodding, confirming what Tyler had been dreading. I could see tears starting to well up in his eyes as the reality sank in. He was trying to keep it together, but you could tell he was on the verge of breaking down. But then his next statement brought me to tears. "Dad, I don't care. You may not be my biological father, but you are my dad. You have been there for me every step of the way through thick and thin. You have supported me, loved me, and guided me even when you could have just walked away like Mom did. And that's what matters to me. You have given me everything I could ever need: love, stability, and a sense of belonging, and I would not trade that for anything in the world." Seeing tears in Tyler's eyes as he spoke hit me right in the gut. But it also kind of gave me this feeling of hope, that no matter what crap comes our way, we will tackle it together, as a father-son duo full of love and strength. The next few days were quite peaceful, and then, a few days later, out of the blue, I got a call from Morgan. To give a bit of background about Morgan, he was not just some regular dude. He was the big cheese CEO of an IT company right here in Houston. I was caught off guard by the call, but when he started talking, I couldn't help but feel grateful. "Thomas, I have been wrestling with something for a while now. I know I have not been there for Tyler, but I want to make things right. I want to be a part of his life. I understand that you want to be involved. Morgan and I have no problem if Tyler agreed with that idea, but just know he is my son and I have never ever thought of anything else other than him. I've been there for him every step of the way, through thick and thin. And I love him that much. I respect that, Thomas, and I never intend to interfere in your relationship with Tyler. He has always been yours in every way that matters. But I feel a responsibility towards him. I know this is a lot to take in, but I want to help. I can see that you've been through a lot, and I want to ease some of that burden. I appreciate the offer, but I'm not sure if I can accept anything from you. Please hear me out. I understand if you're hesitant, but I want to offer you a position at my company. We're in need of an IT manager, and I think you'd be perfect for the role." "An IT manager? That's unexpected. I know it's a big decision, but think about it. It would provide financial stability for you and Tyler, and it would give you the opportunity to work in a supportive environment." "I'll admit, it's tempting. I will think about this a bit more, Morgan. Thank you so much for offering me the job. I couldn't be more grateful. This is nothing compared to what you did all these years, Thomas." Life had been cruising along smoother than ever after all the chaos. Everything seemed to be falling into place just right, and it felt like I was finally getting a payoff for all the crap I had been through. Tyler was growing up and was getting more used to his condition and handled it like a champ. Even though I was always there for him, he kept insisting he was good on his own. Thanks to all the treatments and meds, he could even walk without any aids now, though he still had those nasty symptoms and seizures popping up every now and then. But despite all the crap Vanessa threw our way, we came out on top, and now we were thriving rather than being losers. If that was not karma biting her back, I don't know what is. So a few years flew by, and I was still grinding away as an IT manager at Morgan's company. The paycheck was solid, so no complaints there. But then came the cherry on top. I got bumped up to the IT director of the company, and man, I was on cloud 9. Then, one day, out of the blue, guess who shows up on my doorstep? None other than Vanessa herself. I couldn't believe it. Last I heard, she was living it up with some rich dude. After all this time, she never once looked back or bothered to see how we were doing. And now, she decides to waltz back into our lives when everything was peachy keen. "Vanessa, what are you doing here? Thomas, we need to talk." "Can I come inside?" "I guess so." "What is it?" "I have been doing some thinking lately, and I made a mistake leaving you and Tyler. I miss our family, Thomas. I miss you." "After all this time, now you want to come back? After 14 long years, you want to come back? Ha, what changed?" "I have realized that I made a terrible mistake, Thomas. I see now how much you have done for Tyler when he is not even your son, how much you have sacrificed. And, well, I heard you are doing pretty well for yourself now. I thought maybe we could give it another try. First, you cheated on me, Vanessa, and you betrayed me twice by leaving me to take care of Tyler alone. Leave me out of it. You left Tyler alone when he needed you. And now you want to get back together because I'm rich now." No, it's not just about that, Thomas. I miss us. I miss our life together." "Oh, please. Cut the crap, Vanessa. I can't believe your fake words anymore. You have no place in my or Tyler's life anymore. You can leave. And please never dare to come here again. You are not welcome." I didn't even have to ask Tyler what he wanted. Letting Vanessa back into his life after all she had done just did not sit right with me. Luckily, Tyler was out with his buddies when she showed up. I kept the whole thing under wraps from him because I did not want it messing with him, especially since his symptoms were acting up big time those days. I could not believe the nerve of Vanessa. After all she had done, she tried to crawl back when everything was finally going smoothly and we were kicking butt. But I will admit, seeing her practically begging for another chance felt kind of satisfying. She put me and Tyler through hell, making us feel like losers. But look at us now, bouncing back and showing her who actually was the boss. Revenge never tasted so sweet.